Swallow it, I'm busy.
But Daddy, I gotta go.
You're just like your mama. Your mama can't drive more than 2 miles before she's got to take a squirt. Hurry up now, give it a fast shake.
Daddy, my zipper's stuck.
Get in the car, Junior.
But Daddy, my zipper's stuck.
Get in the car, Junior.
Daddy, my fly's still open.
Let me tell you something, Junior. If you ever embarrass me like that again, I'm going to get an axe, and you're never going to have to open your fly again.
I'd have to turn the mic on, but Quinn, I figured you'd get a hell out of that one. How's everyone doing? It is 10 after 11 here. And I believe, let's see here, it is what? 10 after 4 in the UK. Hey, Mars, how are you? Good to see you. Hey, Mark. Good to see you. Yeah, we didn't do a show this evening because we were live with Fred on Friday evening. And well, I figured, hey, if I'm up to it, had a bit of fun last Sunday night doing a late night show like old times, like we used to. We used to broadcast at 11 o'clock till 1 a.m. in the morning here. Justin May joined me. He's going to probably share a little bit about his shroom experience. So that should be fun to hear. Today, what the hell? Today was National Cheesy Day. What the fuck? National Cheesy Day. There is a day for everything now. I love cheesies, but I don't think I'm going to go out and buy a bag of cheesies to eat them on National Cheesy Day. What? Who thinks of this stuff? National Cheesy Day. Are you cheesy fans? You guys like cheesies? I don't know. Cheesies. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the show the other night with cheese almost there. No, cheesies. Not cheese, cheesies. You know, the snack cheesies. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the show with Fred last Friday night, this past Friday night. And of course, filling in for Alex was our good friend Kristen Amanda, the host of Paranorm Girl podcast. Had a really, really good time. It was fun doing the show with those two. So cool. Look forward to having Fred back on to talk about his book. Because he's got a book coming out. And another book. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So subscribe to his YouTube channel. I haven't put it in the show notes for this, but if you go and check the archives and the archive for the show with Fred, you'll see his link there, and along with Paranormal Girls link as well. So subscribe to them both. Fred really hasn't been too active on his YouTube channel, but he will be, like he says, in the spring and summer. But Paranormal Girl, Kristen Amanda does a wonderful job with her podcast. And this season, she's concentrating on UFOs, aliens, and abductions and all that wonderful stuff. And like always, she comes to some sort of a conclusion. Well, conclusion or what she thinks about the whole scenario after, you know, having guests on to talk about certain various subjects under the umbrella, the UFO umbrella. If you missed it, Marsh, you can check it out. It's in the archives there. Here on YouTube. It's worth listening to, watching, whatever. I don't know how long I'm going to go on tonight. Um, I'm pretty tired, but I don't know. We'll see how the night goes, and if Justin does join us, even better. Interesting label when I'm drinking. Raclops. Interesting. Yeah. Anyways, cheers. So, what's new in the world of, I don't know, the world of anything? I'm totally unscripted tonight, so I'm going to be all over the place because I don't know why I decided to do this tonight. I just never touch the stuff. What beer, alcohol? Good, Quinn. If you don't, good for you. I commend you. Um, I just figured, hey, like I said, last Thursday or last Sunday night, we had a pretty good time, and it was neat broadcasting late again. Let me just see here. I'm just gonna put this out there for everybody, and if you want to join, by all means, I'll pin it. And there we go. You like that, eh, Quinn? Seedy underbelly of civilization. Yes. That's you know, I kind of got the idea for that terminology with today. It just there are so many people out there that, really sit there and go, I, I was thinking of uh, um there are a lot of people out there that you just shake your fucking heads at. um it could be just driving to work in the morning, or driving home from work in the evening, whatever. Just people like drivers. There are a lot of, I gotta watch my terminology here because I don't want to get too I don't know, angered, if you will. Yeah, it's you're not alone, Quinn. The US is really changed. It really has over the past few years. Like, I mean, it has changed drastically here. Don't get me wrong. Canada's just as bad, if not worse. But would frequently cross over and spend some time in the U.S. Maybe for the day, or for a few days, whatever else. But yeah, it's really, really different now, going back across the border since the shutdown, since the border was closed. And I don't know, has it, the media maybe? Uh, I think the media has played a huge part of that, for the difference. people, and I don't want to sound too much like a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but I do believe mainstream media does dictate and can dictate, how a civilization, you know, moves forward, and their forward thinking and their opinions and thoughts, because they're blasted constantly with these visuals and commentary of, you know the same thing over and over again, trends, if you will. And obviously each news outlet, media outlet, whatever, has its different take on it, spin on it, their personal spin, if you will. But in the end, it is the same. You know, it's you know rather it's to put fear in your minds. Because I mean, for the most part, it's always fear. It's when you watch the news, there really is never any feel good story. I mean, there is, but not really a lot. There might be that one shining story out of like a flood of news, evening news. And you know well, we got to put some relief into our viewers after pounding the shit out of them with dreadful storylines. I mean, it's just horrendous. But don't buy into it. Don't buy into it. And your first thing to do, I think, is just don't watch it. It's just regurgitated garbage. Good evening, sir. Oh, just waiting for your audio. uh, Nothing yet. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, something. Nothing yet. Nope. Nothing. uh, yeah, see? uh, Unfortunately, Quinn, I picked up Justin's bad habits. Justin was doing this long before me. uh, we'll get it. Can you hear me, Justin? You move something there. There was. Uh-oh. Is that it there? Does he have it? No, nothing. Uh, turn the mute off your mic. The setting on the StreamYard. You got mute on your StreamYard. There you go.
That's better.
There we go.
Crap. I'm like, what the heck? And then sure enough, because I moved my mixer, I had other settings here. Yeah, that's right. I'm like, I'm hearing him. Why am I hearing him? Why can't he hear me?
Yeah, that's weird. So how you doing?
Doing all right. How's it going in there, guys?
Good, good, good. Uh, Quinn's giving you a pounding there
Yeah, I
in
did.
chat.
Apparently, you had some issues too with your mic or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I always forget to put the take the mute off at the beginning of the show, so
Yeah,
I'll start talking, and it's like, oh, wait a sec. Oh, now I got to repeat myself. No,
that's
don't bother. It was only boring anyways.
that's what I thought. I thought it was the mute, but no, it was. Well, it was that and the damn mixer setup. But yeah.
So you were watching Last of Us, right?
Yeah. I never played the game, but most definitely, me and my girlfriend have been watching it since it came on, and it's a pretty
So
good show.
you like it?
Yeah, I like it. It's I almost like it way better, given though they're different, and the how the zombie apocalypse happens. I think it better than what the Walking Dead TV show was.
Mm.
But most definitely, the Walking Dead graphic novels were pretty kick ass.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, they strayed far away from the novels when it came to the show, and there's a lot of cool characters they mixed up or didn't add or cut story short. And
Mhm.
yeah, but most definitely, if you haven't checked out the Walking Dead, people check it out.
So do you think they ruined the Walking Dead by doing that?
No, because I can't believe. Well, I guess I should believe, but it has a huge following, and a lot of
Mm.
people did say, "Here's." Of course, someone has to get in attention now. They have a huge following, so people really like it. I know there was people who dropped off. I think sometime after the fourth or so season. I mean, I just watched it just because I was a fan of the source material, so I guess there was a bit of hate watch and whatnot, but I can see why people liked it. I can see why people found the TV show entertaining. It kept to the core values. They had some of the drama from the books, but really, when you think about it, I mean, the majority of people love mediocrity. So, the way they toned everything down or switched things up in the TV show is just most definitely like a watered down version when it came to the source material. And I
Well,
could say the same for Last of Us. I'm not sure. I'm kind of trying to follow some things that I read up, but by far, just at face value, it's a better written show and better acted show at times.
I know with The Walking Dead, I think a lot of people had trouble after season two.
Yeah,
When they switched it up in season two, and then they're like, you had a great first season, then all of a sudden you put like the brakes on. What the hell?
yeah. Well, even if I remember correctly, season two was on
The farm.
the farm,
Yeah.
which is I which is I can't remember if it was a whole thing, but there's a lot of stuff that they had before they even got to the governor. And
Mhm.
to be honest with you, the way they set it up wasn't bad season wise, uh,
Mm.
but they could have written some of those things better. And I think the problem was is that uh, for me, and I don't know why they would do it if this is the problem, they were trying to elongate some things for TV
Yeah.
reasons. It's
Mhm.
all sorts of character development and dialogue and everything that they didn't need to do that at all.
Yeah.
They could have just went straight from the source material and went from there. And I mean, by far, I've read the comics. I have the compendium somewhere here, but uh,
Mm.
I read technically to the maybe just after the governor
Mhm.
area. And between that point, there was all sorts of the prison. They did do the prison. I remember them doing that. Uh,
Mhm.
but there was all sorts of cool things that happened during that time and whatnot. And most definitely season two for a lot of people, I can see why. And there was a lot of characters that I just felt weren't annoying in the books, but were annoying as characters in the TV show, and it kind of turned me off. I mean, technically for me, like as a fan of the source material, when it came to that, I was kind of checked out halfway through first season because
Oh yeah.
yeah, seriously, by I don't even want to say because I couldn't pinpoint it, but let's just say by the third or fourth episode, it was already changed of what happened in between, like with characters and story
So,
wise and everything.
so that turned you off a bit.
Of course, because straight from the books again, it was so much better. Rick himself was so much better.
Hmm.
Just the drama between him and just his family, as well as you find out about Shane and all that stuff, and then of course everyone else. That's kind of, do you trust him? Do you not? And you know,
What about the casting? Do you think the casting was good?
I mean, I guess I think Angela fit. I guess Rick fit. I mean, I never had a voice really in my head for any of them, but
Hmm.
for the most part, they fit. I think if I remember, Shane kind of fit too.
Hmm.
What's his name? Bernthal. I forget.
I can't remember his name now. The guy,
The Punisher, but
the
his
Punisher. Yeah, I was gonna say the Punisher.
Shane and the Punisher. That's what
Yeah.
he's in a bunch of other things. But yeah, I mean, I guess they sort of fit. Even it's been so long since I watched it and read the stuff. So there's characters like the guy in the Fisher hat, which is I can't remember his name. But they kill him off eventually. But he was one of my favorite characters in the book, and he lasted, I think, a little bit longer before they killed him off. But he was literally like a father figure, and he just was kind of annoying the way they presented him in the TV show. And then a lot of people, when he died off, when I was watching it, because I'm a bit of a troll, so I'm on these pages and whatnot of my favorite stuff, and I'll debate and whatnot with fellow fans and what. And a lot of people hated that character, and I felt bad because to me it was like one of the star characters
Hmm.
in the books, but he became a hated character, and I think it was by the writing and acting, not necessarily the acting because I forget the actor's name as well, but
Yeah.
all sorts of things, and he's a great actor. But by far the writing, at least for his character for the TV show, sucked. And I guess that's just a lot of cases, with a lot of adaptions, by far. And again, I haven't played the game, which I will for The Last of Us, but the writing is at least good. The acting is good, the storytelling, the pacing. I haven't felt totally bored, even if it is like filler stuff or whatever.
Hmm.
And none of the what people would call the woke stuff is
The
that big.
woke stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's trust me, people. There's aspects of that in our media and whatnot. Uh,
Hmm.
but most definitely, I don't think it's as bad as others would make it. Even in some cases for other TV shows and adaptations, but most definitely, I think people should check it out if you're bored of zombies and you want something a little new. Most definitely check out The Last of Us.
So which apocalyptic scenario do you think is more realistic? The one in The Walking Dead or Last of Us?
I think probably the one in Walking Dead, Last of Us, for the fungus, probably
Yeah.
would have to take a few generations before it adapt. I mean, they're both realistic. I believe when you look up cordyceps, which is the fungus in Last of Us, uh,
Hmm.
they are surprised that it has crossed over to mammals, if I remember correctly.
So it has now.
Yes.
Oh
And
wow.
originally it was mostly invertebrates.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's crossed over to mammals. So, it's just a matter of time before, yeah, maybe something affects humans. It could
So
be 1,000 years from now, for what we know. I'm not an evolutionist or anything, but I'm sure it will take a lot more time than even a few generations for it to like adapt to controlling humans, because it's been existing as is for insects and such for millions of years. Well, I can't say that, but for thousands upon thousands of years.
mhm.
Yeah, so I would assume, but so most definitely, I would say, if anything, because of, well, I guess both would be equal in this case, but of science. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, I could see basically the Walking Dead regular zombie virus type of thing take effect more than anything. I mean, I think we have aspects of that. I mean, they even said they were doing tests for certain rabies, which
Mhm.
made people more aggressive. That could be just a conspiracy theory that I read up on, but I believe that was
I wouldn't doubt it though.
a real study, and it's why not? I mean, We use viruses of all sorts to counteract other viruses and other illnesses. So why wouldn't we, use the genetic coding of a virus to make you more aggressive when you're in war or something like that?
I mean, you look at you look at stuff like Ebola
Yeah.
and how vicious that is on the human body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And look at most people would say, well, something like that isn't real because they have never experienced something like that. Watching somebody die from the effects of
Yeah.
Ebola, but then seeing it firsthand, you're like, whoa, okay, am I in trouble here?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say that lurking in some fucking jungle or in Antarctic
Yeah. I was about to say.
Siberia or something,
Yeah.
there's some fucking genetic coding or whatever years ago that would wreak havoc and
Yeah.
cause this kind of fucking pandemic, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, from what we can tell, it's kind of natural selection, just
Mm,
nature overall. I was reading something that they have studies of certain, animal migrations and stuff and populations where they'll see I think this has been done in rats too or
mm,
mice, disease and aggression take start taking up in larger populations, and
mhm.
it's just for whatever reason, Mother Nature just saying, "All right, you need to go. There's just too many of you," and it is what it is. I love your cute little cat. Thank you, myself. Good old Syrian cat. Nah,
uh, okay. Here, yeah. Well, yeah. Exactly. I've seen this. I've seen this before. Yeah. Drugs, street drugs, causing that sort of scenario.
yeah, yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, we've seen this several times.
yeah, and I think there's a part, and again, on a large scale, because I've experienced all sorts of inebriants, and I don't necessarily think it's the drugs per se. I think that's a factor into that. But I mean, it's scary. I forget what we were had. Crocodile was the other one,
Hmm.
among
Yeah.
others. And of course, people were freaking out on bath salts.
Oh
And,
yeah.
uh,
Oh my God. Remember that?
yeah,
Oh.
and then what
But
I think it's just people's willpower, which is large scale. Most people don't have that high enough willpower.
I
But
think I think the state of Florida was hit worse with that
yeah,
bath salting. Right? Fuck.
that's where we're getting a lot of those stories from.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I don't know. Check this out, man.
Mhm.
There's a documentary out there called Florida Man.
Guys, Florida. Oh, I did.
Have
Yeah,
you seen that?
I think I seen that, but I know I'm aware of it. Yeah, 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 yeah. And it is. It seems like a thing.
Uh,
Where
it,
there's.
it start it's about this dude. He goes around and he interviews normal people who live in Florida. And I think the first guy he interviews is this guy who he's in his 60s and he loves going into bars and picking fights. He just loves to go in there and fight.
Yeah, yeah.
So, they're talking with this guy. Well, why do you like going into bars and getting kicked out? Because you're fighting. I just love the high. The exhilaration. It's just a natural high. I love it. And the guy is like, fucked up. It's like, wow, here you're getting a clear picture of, because let's face it, most people who live in Florida aren't from Florida.
No, no, most aren't.
Florida is one of those states where everybody flocks to, and there's
Yeah,
some reason a lot of them don't leave.
yeah, yeah.
They get suckered into staying.
The only real natives are the Cubans.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Oh,
you
check
know,
out my new shirt. It's a Godzilla shirt. Well, it's
that's
got
a cool shirt, Justin.
shirt punch people. I also got another one. It's actually a tombstone. It's Doc Holliday says, "Forgive me if I don't shake hands." I have a pickup on my 24 hours on Facebook if people want to check it out. Pretty cool shirt.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I'm an affiliate of Shirt Punch, so maybe if you guys are interested, I probably can find a link and share it for you guys. But
What's this?
yeah, I mean, it's not totally crazy because people got to buy stuff in order for me to even receive anything. But yeah, I've been an affiliate for like I think a couple of years now or something like that with Shirt Punch. So yeah,
Shirt punt? What is it?
Shirt Punch, Shirt Punch.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the deal with this place?
Basically they have these are limited edition shirt runs, which I mean they're not really. It's manufactured limited edition, but they'll do certain runs and certain artists will create these, and I'm not sure if they're getting licensing for this, which I don't. I mean, I don't care,
Probably not, right?
but
That's why they're limited runs.
yeah, yeah. They go to do so many before they catch on. So
Yeah.
I've been buying shirts from them for years, and I have all sorts of random shirts that
Are
just
they a pretty good price?
yeah. I think this one was like $15, and then I got a
Wow.
and they may offer it for anybody, but I got a special where it's like, hey, for $5-6 more you can get a surprise shirt. And this is the one I ordered, and the surprise shirt was a Doc Holliday, which I love Tombstone, and I love Doc.
Mm.
Well, I should say I love Doc. Not a huge like a fan. I got Doc Holliday posters, but it was been Val Kilmer in that movie is
Yeah.
just all everyone in there, and that movie's great. But I got a random shirt happened to be one of my favorite movies and favorite characters in those movies, and a real person. But so
Yeah,
yeah, great.
it's funny. We were talking. I was watching this
Mhm.
documentary on making contact with another civilization out there in the universe,
Yeah,
and it was really interesting. The sort of the scenario that they're going into. They're going into the scenario that perhaps those civilizations out there, they've abandoned their carbon based being and are now artificial.
yeah, I think it's possible.
Sort of like how we're kind of on the cusp of that now. We've got artificial intelligence sort of, coming in from the rear,
Yeah,
and they'll look at there's this fear that it's going to take over everything, that's the next stage in our evolution, if you will.
yeah,
And the possibility that other civilizations out there in the universe have already gone through this years ago,
yeah.
and that there's a collective sort of centralized sort of being, if you will.
Yeah, like the Borg.
The Borg, yeah, collective, yeah, exactly. I don't know, that's pretty screwed up.
No, I mean it's totally possible. I mean,
Oh yeah.
when you think about just another thing I was reading and don't remember where I was getting it from, but they were saying that it's possible because of the telescopes that we've had,
Mhm.
we our theory of the Big Bang may be wrong,
Mhm.
because when they're looking that far, because we're looking in the past, like it's so weird when you think about it, the stars we're seeing are
Yeah,
thousands
that's the past. Yeah.
of past. It's weird. And we're kind of time traveling in a sense by vision,
Yeah.
which is time travel is existence in that way. But when they were looking through the telescope and they saw as far as they can, and of course I'm not an astrologist or an astronomer or anything like that, but and I'm sure you can find it. But they saw all these other, I think, universes, and it kept pushing out. Uh,
Mhm.
which maybe there's a source to that. I'm not sure. We're not sure. It's a theory of all that. But the idea is it's just like a continuation, right? And at some point, what we could be seeing are other multiverses at that too. Uh, with that, there's a beginning and end, as we could tell. We go back to entropy. And there's even a theory that this is not the first time that we existed, even like this. I mean, a great TV show, which me and my girl were just talking, and my son is somewhat named after, is Battlestar Galactica, and
Oh yeah.
that's the basis of that show. Is that
Yep.
this is not the first time this has happened.
Mhm.
Even in the Bible, this it says that it's not the first time this has happened either. Even in the beginning of Adam and Eve, they had other tribes and such. So, I mean, sure, those ideas of them being the first is kind of cool with the story of it.
Mhm.
But as far as we understand, excuse me, It's not the first time. So we could just be reliving it, or we're just, maybe those things are in so far into the future and we're still in the past. And that's the inevitable. And we can see those things, whatever that may be, another civilization is really not another civilization, but it's just us in the future. Because
Hmm.
there's also a theory that we eventually just expand out from here, and everything that we bring with us will evolve on other planets or other atmospheres, and thus creating new life essentially. We're not going to be the same once we leave here.
No, no, we'll adapt.
Yeah. How that happens, or what that entails, I don't know. Could be another 100 years, thousands of years before we see those adaptations take place. But in the scope of time, that's a blip. So by the time we know it, let's say there's reincarnation, we might be a new form, and that new form was just us.
I mean, think about it. I mean, carbon base is throughout the universe.
Yeah. So as we
And I
upset.
mean, there's a great possibility that if there is another civilization out there,
Mhm.
that they are carbon based.
Yeah.
And if they are carbon based, they may not look entirely exactly like us, depending on what their planet is like, but there may be some similarities.
Yeah, yeah. Well, even in your idea of, we are not flesh as we think we are. Uh,
Mm,
all this is just a computer essentially. All it
mm.
understands the code, and bam, just go plop, boop, and then there you go, brain in a new metal body, which is probably a better deal anyways. Because I mean, I'm 40 years old and my body's falling apart already. So I'm totally down with that
Uh,
upgrade. Seriously, or
yeah.
maybe not. I don't know if I want to live forever like that, but still, it is much better than this bag of bones, which I'm still healing from burns from a boiler pipe of working on. This it's
So so you'd switch in for the new AI version.
yeah. I'd be RoboCop. Why not?
RoboCop, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, wouldn't that be something else, eh? Like, we've now reached, the transition, if you will, the great
Yeah.
transition.
Yeah.
Trade your bag of bones, as you put it, in for a new sleek, sleek,
New, sleek, and sexy Justice. I
sexy. Yeah. Imagine, imagine. Everyone would do that.
Yeah.
The possibilities are endless. What you could do with this new AI version.
Yeah.
You
And
could try.
nothing would matter. I mean, everything that holds us down to our flesh wouldn't matter. We'll just be going forward. I mean, there'd be no, unless our neurons have to be connected in some way or whatever. Then yeah, we're gonna have touch and feeling. But other than that, I mean, we can just start flying off to the sun practically, as long as our metal bodies can handle it.
I take them. Who's going trans?
It's humans.
Transhumans, yeah, yeah. That's
Trans
but
am.
but I mean that's crazy, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Well, I shouldn't say it's crazy, but it's quite possible that
it's like an inevitable. I want to say.
Well,
You know.
I mean, honestly, let's think about it here. I mean, in order for us to sort of evolve,
Mhm.
um, with yeah, sure, we are able to, medically, there are a lot of things that we can sort of deal with now that we weren't able to deal with before. But now, when you look at the age of science now, when it comes to dealing with diseases and stuff, we're talking about nanotechnology.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, right there in itself is in artificial intelligence, if you will.
I mean, we are. I consider us. I mean, that's the whole discussion with this. I mean, is this really a conversation, or me just pre-programmed to respond to these instances that you're talking to me? Even in our own bodies, it's almost artificial intelligence. Right down to our skin cells and our blood vessels to our immune system are literally little nano bots, single-celled organisms that are programmed to have a job to that, which is to maintain this, flesh mountain that we call our bodies. And I mean, it's just a matter of being able to do that. But the technology already exists because we're literally Wolverine. Like
Mm.
we're able to reconstruct our bodies. It's not as
Where the heck are my friggin'
yeah.
blades, man?
Where's my Wolverine at? I have a Wolverine somewhere. But, we just don't have it to that extent. Of course, I would love. We do have an enhanced immune system, a healing
Mm.
factor.
Well, yeah, the immune system is a thing of wonder.
It's, skin cells repairing them. I mean, they're
Mhm.
not necessarily repairing themselves; they're just regrowing.
Mhm.
But I mean, literally, this body, as fallible as it is pretty freaking extraordinary.
Look at the tissues and look at the tissue in the mouth.
Yeah, yeah,
Look at your tongue.
yeah.
And you look how it heals itself.
Of course, yeah,
And the tissue, like the lining in the mucus lining in your mouth, same thing.
yeah,
You know how quickly it's able to regenerate and heal.
yeah.
You
And
know,
and it's true. I've actually I won't get into that story, but anyways, there's a story somewhere
I know I have a story too that I can tell.
there. Oh man.
But speaking of stories, you do have a story that you want to share, don't you?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
Let's talk about it, man.
speaking of inebriants and such, and almost definitely with anything, do it with your parents involved and have a friend. But no, I ended up doing a little bit of a low dose on some psilocybin mushrooms. Well,
Oh.
psilocybin mushrooms, and both me and my girlfriend and I. And
Mhm.
I've done it before a handful of times in my years of existence here.
Your rebel years, right?
Yeah, my rebel. So that's still it. Um, and I've the first few times are probably like more to experiment, and after it's kind of like the tool of what you could do with it. Some people just like the whatever of body buzzes and stuff like that, which is of course great. Ain't gonna lie, sex on mushrooms is fucking as long as things go well, it's a pretty great experience, and I could say that was a big part of that. But I tend to meditate and do all sorts of things. And freaking, we don't want to know about your kinky
Oh, I love it.
so far. I
Uh,
don't have any,
yeah.
but almost everyone I know has them. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Uh, we so I took it late last night, around 10 o'clock or so, somewhere around there, like around 9:30, and my girlfriend took it before me, and I was coming back from a not a win, but a great game of Warhammer, which is
Mhm.
hopefully once I get the parts of this computer fixed up, I'll be able to do more. I mean, it's working now, but I need to get new RAM, and I'm putting in a new
It
hard.
could work better.
Yes, it could work better. Surprisingly, we're doing good. Knock on plywood. But anyways, um, you're obviously feeling the body buzz. It comes in waves, and long story short, basically we had High Lung, the band High Lung. I don't know if anyone is familiar with them at all. Some of their music was popular by I think it's Vikings, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
And
exactly.
we were actually going to go see them not that long ago, like last year, I think it was. But she turned it. She had it on, and then she's like, "Throw it on." My setup, which is disconnected. This is not just connected to this, which I should just connect my other mixer to this, so I don't have to switch things around. But everything's here, and I'm lazy, so all I got to do is make sure everything's
Uh,
there. But anyways, I hooked it up to the system I have here through the TV, and eventually I started kicking in, and the music in itself was perfect for this experience.
mhm.
And I've had other music, and I've done it without music, and I've done it with certain lighting, and I've watched it with certain, movies and stuff like that.
But don't you find that when you're doing this, being outside seems to be a better scenario than inside?
Oh yeah, that's most definitely it. I
Yeah.
every time, and I gotta admit. This wasn't bad,
Hmm.
overall, just because I mean, look at just behind me, and if you people pay attention, you've seen glimpses. I got stuff all around. So, like in the same sense, I like this lighting. This is a red lighting, so this light that's regular bulb light wasn't on. So I had black light, a red lighting. We had the music, and then anything you're seeing is being reflected or enhanced,
Hmm.
being enhanced by that. So I mean, it's always good to at least be in an area like outside that has a lot more things to engage with, or
Hmm.
inside with a bunch of crap on your walls.
Yeah.
You know, I
You'll
got
never get tired of
yeah.
staring at one spot. Yeah.
I was on acid last year, 2 years ago. Actually,
Really?
you'll remember
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right,
I remember.
Gareth.
Yeah,
That was Jesus Christ. That's 2 years ago now.
yeah.
Then
2 years ago. Yeah.
and not with Gareth, but it was during the time when we were all interacting and whatnot.
Hmm.
And we were looking at the paintings, and literally we got an Airbnb in Michigan, so we were on vacation on the holiday, as you guys overseas say, and we got caught just looking at the paintings, and of course had great, wonderful sex, of course, uh, which lasted like forever. It seemed like, but.
Yeah.
Uh, on that experience too, which I find very similar, they're different, and I don't know how to explain it. Something like acid, LSD is much definitely different than being
More
on.
intense.
Yeah, there's a difference for sure, and the
Hmm.
difference for me would be what made this interesting. We were chanting with we were like. And I'm not saying this can't happen with any acid, LSD, and other hallucinogens, but most definitely mushrooms kind of focus you. It's kind of weird how to explain it, and or at least for me and some of
Hmm.
my experiences with other people. I've had people kind of freak out, and I think that's just your state of mind, So if you don't, have a good state of mind, I suggest you not doing anything. To be honest with you, don't drink, don't do anything, because it's probably not good for you anyways. But most definitely, I was doing meditation, doing my own, I'm an occultist, so,
Hmm.
doing my own little rituals. And
So you still identify as an occultist?
yeah, I would say so
Yeah.
because I align with little ritualistic things.
Okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I don't have a total alignment, and if I did, it would be chaos.
Chaos magic.
Yeah, chaos magic, which is, I think, the best explanation of what magic really is
Mm,
the
absolutely.
intention and subconscious, what
Yeah.
makes you the ether of everything, which doing mushrooms connects to that.
Hmm. Sort
Even
of heightens it.
yes, yes, it's like the plus one if you play RPGs, the plus one armor or something to the rest of life, and or a magic serum or something, or potion or something like that, or an herb, you know. And most definitely, I prefer doing these types of things in that setting more than. I mean, I like to have fun. I mean, even when I drink, I want to have fun. I tend to, you know, I, there's two sides. There's a stoic side when I'm kind of inebriated, where I'm just chilling, kind of watching things, and then there's like, let's go cause some trouble. And then it just depends on the vibe. I'm making girlfriends at strip clubs or running. I do a little bit of sex magic, my friends, and it works. It's not as quick as people think, but it works. Uh, but most definitely, people have said that I probably could have started a cult back in my early days because of some of the quantum physics stuff and all that.
Wait a sec. You could still probably start one,
I
Justin.
could, I wouldn't be surprised, but I was told by multiple people I could probably start a cult. But
Wait,
and
wait a sec. You wait a sec. You kind of let me show. Hold on. I gotta.
that's something,
Yeah. You ever heard of Coffin Joe?
maybe
You've never heard of Coffin Joe before?
I probably have, but I'm not. It's not hitting the old.
Okay.
It's not coming from the memory banks right now.
Okay. I gotta find a picture of him. Let me find a picture of him.
That's fine. I'll turn up this, but I'm just turning on chat here because I do prefer it on my laptop as I'm doing this. So we try to mix a little bit of that. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
There you go, Justin.
I should do something like
You
that.
should do a coffin Joe thing.
Well, surprisingly, not surprisingly, but the top hat there. If people check out sometimes my old Facebook or my Google account, I have a top hat that has a chaos star on it. Awesome, awesome. I mean, hey, if anyone's out there, I mean, even Steve has mentioned this. We do like to do it. We would mind doing experiments and stuff. You
Absolutely.
I've done some cyber rituals, and I do things with my sigils thanks to the 24 hours Snapchat and stuff like that. Given the intent and the application of doing that, but I have done some things with a group of other cyber occultists, hipster cyber occultists, which is basically sigil work too half the time, and some meditation and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm totally all in with that, and experimenting further, even in the paranormal and such. You don't have to be in a special place to do any of these things. From magic to paranormal experiments, you just have to have the right people and equipment and the right mindset to do it. If you're being serious, of course. If you're not, then ha ha ha. Most definitely. Let's start a sex call. I don't know if my girlfriend will like it, but yeah, she's only one part of my sex cult. There you go.
Only one part, right?
Yeah, Uh, but yeah, we were totally, literally in a trance with how long in the background, and then of course I had on YouTube, so very similar music was playing, and just kind of keeping the vibe. There's again, there's people who don't know how to respond to these things because even at a very young age, I've and I'm sorry, my mic, I gotta move this so I can have it better when I'm moving around and stuff because you see I get like things like
You feel restricted with it in front of
yeah,
you.
yeah, I feel a little restricted with the mic in front, but this is better, and I think this mic sounds better too than my last one.
There you
Uh,
go, Justin.
oh yes, look at that, rat claps, rat claps. Well, you had your inebriant, I had mine last night. Another little, herb here and there. But yeah, we were totally in a trance. Most definitely, sex magic was involved. I think more so on my end, but I'm pretty sure she was doing her own thing because we were again in a trance, and there was times when we were listening to the music, and we were all listening to the chant, not just doing the chanting, but
Yeah.
listening to it, and we started talking about like it was just this like it connected with us. Like it was so
So it heightened your awareness of
yes,
the music, but not necessarily the music as a whole, but a certain part of the music.
yes, yes. Certain songs they are more about the lyrics in a sense, which of course they don't always speak English in their songs.
No.
Yeah, it's a mix of everything. If you actually, so it's hard to hear sometimes. That's what the funny thing was. I think it helped us pay attention to the music than just usual where you listen to it in the background, or if you've seen the live versions of these guys, which I totally go on YouTube, look for how long and check out their live stuff. But when you actually pay attention to it, it's a story. They're telling a story in their music, and if you look it up, they're actually it's a ritual kind
Mhm,
of
mhm.
what they're doing on stage. Who knows if I ain't gonna lie. At one point when I was by myself, it was going off, and I kind of felt a little weird. Like after we listened, I think two hours of their music. Not sure if that's their full discography or anything, but roughly about 2 hours. And at one point, the atmosphere wasn't spooky. Is not the word I'm looking for, but spooky is kind of the range I was feeling in some aspects.
Yeah.
I'm heightened on mushrooms, so that doesn't help. But most definitely, it adds to the atmosphere. And at one time, the from that with the music playing, I was standing up because I was stretching, and my girlfriend was laying down. And at one point, because of the pattern on her clothes, excuse me, I kind of got caught in that.
Mhm.
and I
Yeah.
got caught with the music. And then all of a sudden, I look, and she looked like she was floating off the bed.
Oh
And
wow.
this is what I was trying to, this is really what I was, my babbling. Uh, I was like, whoa. And I'm looking at this, and how the way I explained it to her, I said, it was just weird. It was like I was floating, but like I was higher, and she kept going. And then at one point, she like caught up to me, or it could have been vice versa, the way my perspective was. But that's what it looked like, like if like she was shrinking or expanding, and then at one time she looked like she was totally floating. And I said it, and she goes, "I am," and I was like, "What?" And she was visualizing when she was just laying there in her trance. She was floating in her own visualization, and I'm telling you, it was
I
the weirdest.
I'm just laughing at this quote. I have no idea what the fuck that's supposed to mean, but whatever.
Epstein Island.
You're an Epstein Island boy. I don't know. Whatever that's fucking supposed to mean.
I mean,
Uh,
I don't know. I wouldn't mind check. Oh, maybe the sex cult stuff.
oh, maybe, yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not into any of that, and
He's being sarcastic.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Fuck.
yeah, yeah. Rawr, you're getting me. No, I'm not part of any of that. No, no, I like the party. I mean, I've been in orgies, before and stuff like that. So it's like, and not like it was one time. Okay,
Oh, one time, only one time.
one time.
Now,
Yes.
was this with Epstein's
No,
on Epstein's?
no, I was probably young enough,
Oh
be on the
God.
island, but no, in my younger days, I don't know if I could. I could probably handle an orgy now, but I'm too busy and tired. So
Well, that's where the shrooms come in, right?
yeah, maybe. And eventually, I just get caught in the music, looking at booty holes or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Staring. Yeah, that's crazy, man. How it just
As
opens.
long as you're not staring in glory holes. Uh,
I might get confused.
I'm not a Yank, unfortunately. There, of blood, but Justin is, yeah.
Yeah.
uh,
Oh my! And I'm missing the chat because my stuff shut off. I get my screen shut
take care, Quinn.
off. Night, Quinn. But yeah,
All good. We're having fun. That's all it is. That's all.
yeah. Don't worry, guys. Don't. I'm not tripping about
No, no,
it. I just don't. I didn't see the context in the chat about what was going
no.
on. But yeah, I freaking was seeing that, and then at one point we were, intimate or whatever. And then when I say that, it's not necessarily, it's just we were probably talking, or we were just either laying with each other, stuff like that. That of course, the good old in and out is great intimacy, but there's other intimacy in it. And at one point,
A Clockwork Orange.
I know some people probably get that.
The old in and out.
She told me, she goes, Justin,
Are
I
you
saw.
sure she wants you telling us this?
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm just kidding.
You guys already know some of the weird stories. Every once in a while, she'll see my clips. Again, you can find certain clips on my Facebook and Snapchat stuff on my 24 hours, depending when I do it. Okay, so you just got to follow
Yeah.
and see when it cuts up. But she goes, I feel your worries, and she listed my worries, which is nothing extreme. Whatever. I'm not going to get into all that, but most definitely, it came up, and I was just like, wow, like my mind was blown, because those are my worries, and it was just really like a straight up spiritual experience,
Yeah.
and we were talking, and she was just telling me, she's, because there's times when you're just kind of getting lost in your mind, and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And she's just like, I started like, and she was saying in such a short period of time, all these things came to me. And I was like, I'm like dealing with my own, like, things going in my head. I was just telling my guys, there was times where I was meditating and I thought I was playing Pathfinder, which is D&D for people who are aware of role playing.
Yeah.
And my Warhammer, there was times for whatever reason, and that's just some of my hobbies. What snapped me out of it was I was rolling the dice, and me like my arm just doing that, like was like, whoa, wait a minute,
Hmm.
I'm thinking this, So it's just there's all these things going on. I told my guys, I was like, because I haven't been able to play lately, life and everything. And I was like, I really miss you guys. And of course, that's coming off mushrooms. Hey, I miss you guys. But we had a great
Oh
conversation.
my God, it's been so long since I
Yeah,
met you. I miss you guys. Oh,
miss you
thank
guys. I had
God
my
you're.
dice in my hands and the beer and the pizza and passing out at 11 o'clock and waking up at one point because it's my turn.
Did you have a lot of dust too
What does?
with the mushrooms?
Oh, well, I grinded it up.
Oh,
So
you grab. Oh, okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Realistically, it was mostly stem. So if anyone,
oh, okay, mostly stem.
and I was just trying to low dose, but what happened was I did a little bit before and it didn't work. I have a high tolerance, for certain things. I mean, you guys got it and it's safe. I'll try it. And it may not work on me. So that was one when I first smoked pot, like it literally like the first few times.
What
It
is this supposed to be? What is this stuff?
Yeah, I was like, what is this all about? I don't know why they're. And then one day I was like, oh, this is what I was like. Why are people freaking out? But it didn't work on me, or I need to take a lot of it to work. Like edibles don't work on me unless I take a lot. And I haven't found what that medium is, but all I know is that one time I had to take like these two big old brownies, and I was like, oh, I need to like lay down right now. And next thing you know it, I passed out on my living room rug.
But the thing with all the with the baked goods and shit like that is you really don't know how much is in them because
No,
it varies.
but even the stuff that people have told me that was going to work
Hmm.
hasn't worked. It work on someone else, but it doesn't work on me. Or if I need a large amount again, and that could be a good or bad thing depending on certain inebriants and what. But again, I'm not like out there buying crack or uh, or
Go for the harder stuff.
crocodile and all that. It's just
No,
more
you're not walking around in the
yeah.
zombie state.
I'll get you some cheeseburgers for some crack. No, uh,
uh,
but yeah, it's not like that. Besides the usual, I like to have a Jack and Coke, stuff like that. You know, um, nothing too extreme. Again, I'm open to things. I may not be. I mean, hey, it's not my thing, or I'm not going to do it. But I'm open, to the extent. But most definitely, this experience was an eye opener, and I kind of needed it. I think we both needed it because we were just really just the things we were talking about and just the introspection, and it's true. If you use those things and use these types of hallucinogens as tools, you will get some reward out of it.
but the question is, and this is worrisome because I mean you always have to worry about this when you get into this realm. Your source. I mean, where you get the stuff from. Is it? Do you
Oh
trust the source?
no!
so so
In
you
all my
always
in
so
all my
you
years of doing this, I've never gone like, "Where's this growing at?" And what
yeah.
you're taking that chance anytime you're doing something like that.
Yeah.
Unless and I should say I think I explained it before. I'm friends with a chemist, so there was a time I knew things like that. When in that particular example, or I know people who grow, or depending on certain things. Yeah, but like when it comes to almost anything else, I think mushrooms is a little different. You could coat them with something like you could coat them with LSD or something, and say, "Oh, this type of mushrooms," and now you're just tripping off LSD instead of psilocybin.
Hmm.
It's possible, but it could be most likely a better time anyway. So why not? I've had some weird, interesting experiences with certain type of drugs and whatnot, and I probably would never do them again. Or maybe it just wasn't I wasn't in the right setting or the right mind frame. But for the most part, it's just a gamble. I mean, I've abused this body. It's no different than me
So
working in a warehouse, sniffing chemicals that are flying around.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you
Excuse me.
the stuff that we
Yeah.
inhale
So why not have a
on
fine That's gonna be your last.
longingly, like it's amazing what we inhale with our bodies on a daily basis that we don't know unknowingly.
Yeah, I mean, you don't wanna pick stuff like that up from people you don't know. You
Yeah.
know, you rather at least someone's like, hey, I know this dude, or I get it from here. Yeah, I guess maybe to an extent that's how I trust people. Because usually you get something from people you don't know, but you build a rapport from
Mm.
people, or you have a friend and whatnot. And yes, I would prefer that over someone's like, hey, you got to go to like 35th and Paulina at the guy in the corner, and he's going to have what you need. Trust me, that's never a good time. That's probably
Yeah.
never a good time.
So do you think that these particular, and I'll say more organic, I want to go more organic, of course people will get into the you know the LSD and shit like that, but do you think these things actually extend your sense of awareness, your sense of connecting to something that maybe we're unable to without that sort of thing, breaking the filters that domestication has sort of given us since birth?
I think so. I mean, just last night alone was, like I said, the intimacy of just us talking and us sharing our feelings in a sense. I mean, it's not a great thing what I'm about to say, but I wish we could experience that more. And the reason why even we were talking about that, as much as I hope I get to experience and enjoy this room I made and everything. We don't technically in the future plan on being here. We want to get our own property and stuff. And we were joking around while on mushrooms talking about we're like free range people. It's like the things that we want to do half the time. It's literally constricted to, oh well, we got to go to work tomorrow and pick up the kids from grandma's house, and we've already spoiled our kids to the extent of how we are, where I mean, I'm not like an exciting person all the time or whatever. Literally, people have seen I just sit and do my model stuff sometimes,
Mhm.
which I should be working on podcasts and connecting with my other paranormal friends and stuff. But we're all busy and everything, and I'd rather be chilling, half the time. But when how do you say, I don't necessarily I can entertain myself very easily if that is making models or just like this doing podcasts or anything like that. But I do get bored out of mediocrity and mundaneness.
Mhm. Mhm.
And of course we all do. I think, but there are people I meet who are just fine with 9 to 5. They just do this every week. Wednesday we're going to the bar. Friday we're going to the bar, but we're playing pool. Stuff like that. Every day or every week. That's just what they do. I mean, I play pool too and stuff like that. But I like to switch it up. So here we go. You play Warhammer. I have pool. I'm, building terrain. I'm trying to fix my computer. Uh, I got all these little projects and whatnot, and stuff going on in the background where if I didn't, uh, I probably would be, Jack Nicholson, going crazy, all work and no play makes Justin go cray cray. That's really what it would be. And long story short, in that, we're both saying is like we need to just be doing our own thing. I mean, right now, my chores besides this, when I get home, I got to take care of this fur ball among with the other ones, and then I have the tarantulas, and then I got a frog, and we have a turtle and a rat, and we got to spend time with them. And not only that, I'm growing indoors, so behind this wall here I have a whole cardboard setup I made of lighting that I've been growing my own tomatoes and well, a bunch of other things. Some things didn't survive because it's all part of the experiment. I didn't do this before. So
You're prepping yourself for the zombie apocalypse.
yeah, I mean we have to, but kind of back to what you're saying, Steve. We've disconnected so much
Mhm.
from what the natural aspects of
We
this
have.
lifestyle we have. Realistically, is only 100 years old or so. My great grandmother, like most maybe, and maybe not everyone had these opportunities and such, but they had property during the depression, so you didn't have to worry about
There's
anything as long as you had your own property.
there's
and as
there's
long as you can pay it.
there's no such thing as roaming the earth
No, not like it used to.
anymore.
No, I mean
You
there's
know,
actually you can, but it's not like it used to.
well, no, it's not like it used to because there's people everywhere now.
But we can't have property, and that's the problem.
Well, yeah,
The
property, but
the American dream has gone since I was a kid. It's
mhm,
what was I told when I was a kid does not exist anymore. I'm
no.
40 years old. I was born in the 80s. What I was taught does not exist. I remember there used to be free colleges. Do people remember that? It wasn't like every state, but we had at least a handful of states that had free college. We don't have that anymore. Or a free university, even not even just the local college didn't even exist. You had to go to university.
Hmm.
Now we have colleges everywhere, because we need the access to that. But
But
we're
you have to pay an arm and a leg.
another thing. I went to trade school. I had to get a student loan and loans and all this just to go to trade school, which is good or bad for some people, but it was good for me for the most part. But in the end, and even in that, I always tell people that as much as I do dirty work and I'm involved mechanically, I don't always consider myself mechanic inclined, but apparently I am. This wasn't what I was planning on doing. It just
Hmm.
was where the
Yeah.
money was at. Originally went to college to study philosophy and maybe become a counselor, and that went out the window. That went out the window like the first semester. Seriously, my first semester that went out the window.
Mark was asking me if I had any any ghostly sightings of late. Um, I haven't had anything unusual lately. I mean, what about you, Justin? Have you had anything unusual that
Yeah,
you've noticed?
the American dream. That's the ghostly side.
Well, yeah, yeah.
No, nothing. Nothing that pops up to mind other than the last one, which was I think my cat running around. That's about it, but nothing. Yeah, not recently.
Like I remember investigating this restaurant that was had well it had a lot. It's still around. It's now changed owners. But anyways, Marson in the chat, she'll know she was there. A place called oh geez, I can't even think of the Cherry Hill House.
Okay.
And it was known to be very active. And I remember being in there one evening when we were doing one of the investigations. We were there a couple times, but I remember sitting in the dining area
Yeah.
and doing some audio work, and all of a sudden, I see this figure come to the one doorway and sort of just slowly go to the end and dissipate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was the weirdest experience I'd ever had. And I had to second thought myself, did I just see what looked like a woman? It
Yeah.
looked like a woman uh just standing there, and then all of a sudden just like moving, shifting and then dissipating
Yeah.
in the doorway. It was just really weird. Now, hey, a lot of factors could be put into play to explain it, but it just overall it was the most one of the most unusual experiences I've ever had.
Yeah. No, I mean most of those glitches in the Matrix are pretty interesting. Yeah. I mean, I didn't have a ghostly experience, but I mean, last night with the awareness when you're talking about, it
Hmm.
did feel like every once in a while I felt like something was standing in corners and stuff like that, and
Okay.
especially by myself. And during the parts of the music, it just felt like there was a presence with me, and especially with high lung as it being almost a magical a ritual in itself with the music.
Hmm.
Who knows what it was doing to me or doing to the area when I was into it and connecting to it. But literally there was times when I'm like looking around the corner, and up here of course there's been some interesting things as I explained last week. about some of the experiences I've had within the past 3 years or so. That could all be connected to it because this was her grandfather's area, and I just, even though we're different and ages apart, I'm
Hmm.
doing a little bit of the same things he used to do. He had a bed up here. I have the futon up here now. The desk again, like I said, he uses. So maybe doing those things might charge up this area where I might get that weird shot glass that falls over, which was about 2 years ago, I think it was when that happened.
Hmm.
And a few other things that happened up here. I mean, by far the weirdest thing, which again I have talked about here on the show, was when I was being intimate with my girlfriend, and she's like, "Hey, you left the phone on in the kitchen," and I go, "No, I didn't. Shut your mouth and get back to business," And next thing you know it, I'm like looking over at the corner of my eye and I see this light and I'm like, what the heck?
That's
And
weird.
it's but hands down, and people who've caught up with me, I just, yes, there's like a naivety to certain things, but for the most part, I'm pretty skeptical about
Hmm.
experiences, or at least I shouldn't say skeptical. I question the experience of what's going on.
Hmm.
And as soon as I was able to, I tried to recreate the scenario and I could not get this light that we both saw. And again, I don't know if the correlation is there or if it's just happened to be probability, but it was when it was literally the week of Gareth being sick.
Really?
At the news that he died was, I think, just I think they knew when they told us originally, but it was with that time frame.
Hmm.
So who knows? Who knows? And there was a time when I thought someone, literally, it could have been my cat, not this one, the other one that we have that's mostly downstairs, messing with my feet. But I thought someone grabbed my foot at the edge of my bed, and this was all during that same time frame, you know. And my girlfriend, she would, hear things, and I mean, and not even, I think before that, we literally saw the it's like a wooden spoon. I want to say it's a spatula, but anyways, we're in the kitchen, she's cooking, and we're talking, and I literally see this thing flip up from the drawer, literally from the drawer,
Hmm.
and fall on the floor. And I look at my girl and I'm telling her, what did you do? And she goes, what do you mean? And I go, I just saw that. Did you just, am I being a tard here? And she goes, no, I didn't even touch that. You saw me. And I know I didn't see her touch it, but my brain was trying to comprehend.
Comprehend it, yeah.
Yeah, and she saw it on the floor and she's like, oh my God. She just put it back in. She goes, we're not going to talk about this anymore.
I don't want to know how that happened.
Yeah.
I don't want to know that it happened. I
Yeah.
know that it's a lot of things that have happened here.
Yeah.
It's like I want to know more, but then again, does she want to know? Like what I find, like we live here. It's like there's a lot of unusual shit that's happened here, but do we really want to know? You
Yeah.
know?
That's always
So
the case. It's always the case. And I'm always
mm,
finding out.
yeah, oh yeah,
Just like that,
absolutely.
the thing with the weird thing in a drawer. I mean, after that happened,
Hmm.
on the laptop I have here, I just set up the audio through the mixer, put another mic up, and excuse me, and just let it play for, I think, 6 hours or so, until, excuse me, to the next morning. And of course, I didn't go through all 6 hours, but I didn't hear anything from the portions I listened to. But you never know. You never know if you'll catch anything. It's just a probability of that.
What is the most expensive thing in your life, guys? I don't know.
My kids.
Yeah, there you go.
Uh, yeah, I would say it's either my kids, but the rest of my expenses are scattered throughout it,
Yeah.
from the computer to my debt. That's the most expensive thing I have. My debt I've collected over the years.
Yeah, yeah,
Seriously,
yeah. I just looking. Hold on.
no problem. Actually, I've been wanting to look up the chat too, but yeah, otherwise, I mean, my most expensive thing I would say is just my my action figure collection or my retro stuff, because there's stuff that I have Ernie Hudson, one of my closest friends. He got it signed for me. Is one of these real Ghostbuster dolls. Ernie Hudson signed for it.
Oh,
I
no way.
really going to cost, but I have stuff like that throughout my collection of stuff. Old comic books, stuff that's worth $80, to whatever. And collectively, I'm sure that can probably go up to at least $1,000 or more of just as those types of things. But realistically, yes, I would say my wonderful debt is probably the most expensive thing I've had.
Yeah. That question was asked in Twitch, by the way.
Oh, hey, Twitch. How's it going?
So I don't know what I'm a 23-year-old. What advice will you give me? I'm happy to hear from you guys. So I don't know what that means, but
Any convicts previous to that?
you just said, what is the most expensive thing in your life?
And
That
then
was
any advice?
yeah. So any advice after that?
I'll give it to you because seriously, if I would have known this, get property, invest now, save up, get a house. If you're gonna rent very cheap. Don't try to rent something expensive and just save up.
It's expensive though, right
Yeah.
now. Still, I mean, you're not going to see it really drop that much. I don't think with inflation.
No, I mean, if you can get a house, I mean, if I would have known how much money I could have put down on a house back when I was 20 something years old, I would have had it now, Just recently, uh, because of the things that I've done, I was able to have money and I could have bought at least an acre to almost 2 acres of land. And that's only a couple $1,000s where I was looking at. Seriously,
There you go. Talk to me like I'm your son.
like your son. All right, listen here, boy. We gotta have this talk.
uh,
I go grab my cigarettes.
yeah.
Go sit by the station wagon outside
Uh,
at the basketball hoop under the
I,
moon.
I, yeah.
But I mean, that's it. I mean, seriously, if I would have done half those things now, I would have way more, or way more of myself, way more of my own now than I do.
Mhm.
Because most definitely throwing years. I mean, when I got a house and all that, yeah, that's a huge expense, blah blah. But and I'm still technically renting from the bank. Don't get me wrong; it's a whole discussion. You don't necessarily own your house, but it's way better than renting because the mortgage on a house, if you could pay, realistic, if you could pay a mortgage on a house, you could pay. If you could pay rent, you can pay a mortgage on a house. That's what I believe.
More or less.
Seriously,
You look at people who rent rent their place for life,
yeah.
and you sit there and go, "What are you fucking doing?"
My mom almost did that for about I think a decade of our life.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But then of course,
Why wouldn't you, take a splash and invest?
yeah, yeah. People don't know. I didn't really know. I didn't have a lot of people to show me. And if I would have had that earlier on, I do. Uh,
Mm,
and now I know because of the experiences I have. I invest now. It's a little late. But most definitely I say get into that and do how do I say this? I like to do the things I do, but I don't. Okay. So
mm,
I am a remodeler and HVAC tech. My main thing is I like to figure things out. So that's where that plays into. But what really that does is help me afford my expenses. And you could be doing anything. If you, let's say you go to engineering school now and you get a job in engineering or whatever other paperwork sitting behind a desk engineers do because they're not out there building stuff all the time. I'll tell you that they're just signing off on things and maybe looking at some stuff. You could afford things later on or during that time that will make you happier. Most definitely, you're going to get stuck in the rat race unless you just happen to fall into the cracks and you happen to land on that great job or that great gig and whatnot. I kind of had. And that's really where you enjoy life. seriously, everything else is just what we make up, and we're just all sad and confused and everything else, just like the rest of us. So just try to make the best of it and invest as well.
It's one big confusion.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Excuse me.
I see people all the time. They, even now, some people at 40 years old are still trying to figure their life. Me, I shouldn't say I know everything or I have a grasp, but I know what I want to do, and I know what I'm doing and how to do that. It's been tough, but working for myself. I mean, I literally at times I make as much as someone who works part time, and if you can survive off that, then do it, and save and work around things differently. Again, last night we were talking about what wealth and being, because we were, money's on our head. We have, family. We want
Obviously, it's always on your head. Yeah.
city. I was just saying I want to get out of debt, which is not like $20,000 or whatever, but I would rather be able to have that baggage off me and do the things that I do want to do within the system. Otherwise, it's not like preventing me from doing the things that I'm
You're
doing
still
now.
gonna do shit
Yeah,
regardless, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you're gonna have that, the happy look at I want to do this and I'm gonna do it. And then you do it, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I got dead
yeah.
now. But I mean, look at money is a physical thing,
Hmm.
but is it really though? Now it's like a mental thing,
Yeah, yeah, it
you
is.
know.
It
It's a
is.
mental thing. It weighs heavy on a lot of people.
Yeah, then the only way, just like we were talking about, is to go free range, and we all can't do that. I mean, technically, we probably can if we spaced out some more, the way we develop cities and whatnot. But I mean, expensive things like something you can't buy, even if you have all the money in the world. Why don't? Well, I didn't. He ask what's the most expensive thing we had.
Yeah.
Well, in the context of that, I mean, I don't know. I I kind of want a castle, I guess. If all the money in the world, I would want a castle. But like time. Oh, sure. 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 I wish you could buy time. Yeah. But those things,
But what would you do with that time, though? That's the
I
thing.
guess,
Time is really expensive. Sure, it is.
I guess be like Marty McFly and go invest on some numbers of the almanac. That's about it.
But I mean, time is not predictable. Time you can't predict time. You can't. So I mean, it's like a lot of things in life
Yeah.
you
Don't
can't
organize.
predict. I
Don't.
mean, you can't sit there and say, "Look, I'm going to die tomorrow, or I'm going to die 5 years from now." You can't live your life like that. I mean,
This
you
is
can't.
this is the most expensive thing right now. Living this moment.
Yeah.
Well, seriously, living this moment, because as soon as we go, which could be tomorrow, that is down. That's entropy down to zero. So
Hmm.
the most fulfilling thing, the most expensive thing, is living this moment right now. So yes, Mister Kev, I do agree it's time, but in the end, that's it. It's already happened. So you have to. The most expensive thing is this right now.
Hmm. Yeah. They hear the now.
Yes.
They hear the now, and yeah, I mean, are we sitting here wasting our time doing this? No, I think we're being productive. I think we're having a good conversation,
Yeah.
and there are people who are listening or watching or whatever else.
Yeah.
You know, it's it's not like we're sitting here and pretending we're experts about anything because
No.
we're not experts. We're far from experts on anything in this realm. But I mean, it's something that we can discuss.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm an
Like
expert in
any.
my life and my mistakes and my I'm the expert in that, but everything else, no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even the things that I'm even good at, even HVAC, I don't even consider myself an expert because I'm constantly learning and checking out new applications and stuff like that. It's always something. But yeah, this we're just we're we're just a little above the average bear. How about
And it's like the good old days, Justin, when yeah, I'm an expert in ghost hunting.
yeah,
Yeah, I have a cert. I'm a certified ghost hunter.
Oh my god, I remember certifications were going crazy.
Remember that?
You
Remember
don't
that?
hear about that anymore,
Certified.
but yeah,
Oh,
it is
this
ridiculous.
is certified. Who the fuck cares if you're certified or not? I got a TV show.
Yeah, that's how they were selling it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know. I love. It's funny. I do love looking at conventions, and it's really just XTV paranormal stars.
That's all it is now.
Or- And it's some of it's the producer of, or it's so weird now. It's just like so saturated with all sorts of people. It's like, oh, I wrote this, you know.
Oh, thank Kayvon. Thanks for
Ev, I appreciate
what?
that.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for watching and on Twitch there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're paranormal in nature, but I think all of life is kind of paranormal, and the things
Well,
that
it is. I mean,
you know.
it's like, well, we know, there's going to be a time when we all, perish, if you will. But I
Yeah,
mean, I look at it like this, Justin. I look at it like this. Look at death is a transition. It's
yeah.
not the end all be all.
No.
And a lot of people fear death because they think that's what it is. They think that it's the end.
Yeah,
And I really don't think that way. I don't think your journey ends with the physical sort of aspect and when it dies. I think we transition,
yeah.
carry on.
Yeah, I mean, as I like to point these things out, for every action, there's an equal but opposite reaction. As above, so below. And you can apply these types of philosophies, or in
Mhm,
Newton's case, a law, to almost every aspect.
mhm.
So, if our bodies, the physical self, goes back to the dirt, which is what we're all come from, why wouldn't our spiritual self do the same thing and
Mhm.
be a tree, or be a grass,
Yeah,
or be the building blocks for bacteria, which is what this all is. uh,
exactly.
and that's the way I see it. And I don't fear that. Of course, I don't want to. I want to enjoy as much as I can, and whatnot. But even by that time you die, that stuff ain't gonna matter because you already forgot about it. Maybe we don't know that, but it's already ended, and your time has to go. But if there is some sort of afterlife, or there's something more, I would totally be down with being a ghost, or coming back like Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen,
Yeah, Dr. Manhattan. Yeah.
trying to pull myself together in my consciousness, and do that. Otherwise, yeah, it's just gonna be the same old thing, and I might come back as a rock and live my life as a rock existing.
Rock
Hope,
existent.
hopefully, I don't have a memory of my past life. I guess because that would suck to have a consciousness in a rock, and you're there until the wind blows you or
Yeah.
something.
What do I do now? I'm stuck here for a million years. What the fuck?
Yeah, yeah, could be.
So just think, Justin, when you see this odd looking, weird looking, cool rock sitting there at the beach, and you go, hmm,
Who could you
that
be?
poor rock has been sitting there for a million years. I'm gonna take it and bring it home with me and give it a new home.
Oh yeah, I have, Jesus Christ, I got rocks all around here, to be
There
honest,
you go.
because we pick them up from vacation and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
my daughter pays me sometimes in rocks. She's like, yeah,
Uh, well, buddy, I think that I'm gonna call it.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
all,
gonna call it. It's getting pretty late, and but hey, it's been fun.
yeah. I'm enjoying this.
It's been fun, and who knows, we might do it again.
Awesome. You guys are great in the chat. I love that
Yeah,
interaction and everything.
yeah, it's always fun. Thanks everybody for joining in, and we'll catch you again.
Yeah, and good night. And find more, even though it's not updated, at the anomalousradionetwork.podbean.com, because that's where you can find shit
That's where
about.
Justin is. Yes,
Yeah.
and of course, here us here on YouTube and Twitch and New Visions Radio Network. Till well, we're supposed to have a show next Sunday night. I'm just waiting to hear from the guest, but I'll get that info out to you more as soon as we get it. Till then, take care, guys.
Good night, everyone.
Night.